Well, hey there everybody, welcome back to the channel and thanks for hanging out with me again today. In today's video, we actually have a tool review. It was a tool sent over from one of the Amazon sellers. This is the Addam mini cordless rotary toolkit. Essentially, a cordless Dremel. You know, Dremel is a brand name, but I think worldwide everybody knows rotary tools by Dremel. So all this is a small form factor cordless rotary tool. Comes with a bunch of accessories, and I'll go over kind of what you get with the kit, and then we'll show it actually in process with some of the stuff you guys may be doing with your RC cars. Like I said before on the channel, I'm going to just try to stick with tool reviews that would work well at the workbench for you guys working on RCs. So it does come in a nice little, semi-rigid carrying case, and that is the size of the tool. It is tiny. This is the little miniature cordless screwdriver I recently got from Amazon, and it is a little bit smaller than that, and this was tiny compared to the big DeWalt thing. So this was my DeWalt screwdriver. So you can see the size difference between that and this little tool. So like I said, handy for the workbench. I don't have any tool holders that will fit it, but again, it goes back into this tiny little case and will fit into a drawer, into a toolbox, whatever, no problem. Now, you do get a USB-C charger. Does not come with the power brick, but at this point, I think worldwide everybody has at least a dozen of those hanging around the house. It doesn't need a high-powered one, so I just have a generic little power strip with some USB ports plugged in. It charged up just fine. You do get your instruction manual. They have 6 or 8 QR codes you can scan. Takes you directly to the information you need to explain, how to install a bit, how to change the collet, how to do this, how to do that. Really, really nice that they included that. But it cuts down the size of the manual you have to keep track of. Plus, that little folded up piece of paper in here. Take it out, scan it with your phone. You get all the information right there you need. This one came with quite a few accessories. Both of them are in little plastic containers. Now, this one is basically all the sanding drums and sanding discs. This one is all your hard tools, so drill bits, grinding wheels, the polishing pads, your tool, the cutter wheels, and all that. And they do clip closed, but they did put a rubber band around there just for security. But the cases do clip closed, and they stay closed fairly well. Like I said, you get sanding discs, so you get some 60 grit and 120 grit sanding discs. So, if you want to hog something out, put a 60 grit on, 120 for something a little bit finer. And you do get little paper sanding discs. Don't know how well those are going to hold up. I know if you cut a piece of cardboard, like think cereal box or other food product box, to the same size, punch a hole in the middle of it and use that as a backer, those little sanding discs will hold up a lot better. But it's kind of the same with the Dremel stuff. You're going to get the tools that you need. So I have one of the sanding drums and I have the metal cutoff disc on here, and we're going to play around with some Lexan. I made a very jagged, fake wheel arch cut that we need to clean up with a standing wheel. And then on this is just standard plastic card or styrene sheet. A lot of guys would make stuff to fix broken bodies, add details to stuff. Have a little teardrop shape marked out on this. We'll use both the cutoff wheel to try to cut that out, and then the sanding wheel to finish up the little round bit. See if the cutoff wheel will cut through the 2 layers. See if the sanding disc will sand through the 2 layers, and then we'll do some drill bits and stuff like that. But I'll get into the demo in just a second. I don't want to make this too long. But here's your tool. Super simple. It has a LED light on the front that turns on when you turn the wheel on. So you're shining light directly at what you're working on, which is really cool. You have the typical arbor lock. So it's a little push button. So when you want to change bits, you just kind of rotate it and it will fall into place. And then you can use the knurled end on this to change out your bits. Now, it does come with extra collets in here. So if you take this all the way off, you have the removable collet. So you have different size collets for the different size bits. Kind of the standard one is like the 1/8 inch collet that most of the rotary tool cutters are made for, but there are smaller and there are bigger. But 1/8 inch is going to be your typical. You have a power button and you have a speed button. So when you turn it on, it's on. It's running at the lowest speed. And then you push the plus and it goes up to full speed. But low speed, you can hardly hear the thing running. Now, It's 4 volts. It has a 2000 milliamp battery, and it says a no load speed of 5,000 to 18,000 RPMs. So it's not going to be turning, 25, 30,000 RPMs like some high end rotary tools will go up to. But then again, a lot of the rotary tool bits aren't rated for those speeds either. Now, again, this isn't going to be for like hogging out a bunch of rust and, digging out and carving into big heavy things. This is going to be more for your typical desktop RC, hairy homeowner type stuff. You need to sand something, you need to buff something, whatever, you can grab this. But if you're trying to like cut a bunch of pieces of metal over and over again with like a cutoff wheel, probably go to the corded one because you're just going to eat through the battery super fast and have to wait to recharge it and then keep cutting. So, it does have its drawbacks. Being battery powered is always going to be a limitation. Now, they do have it in the orange, and you can also get it in pink. And I think in the orange, they have 2 different tool sets. I'll have the links to all of them below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap you guys to the overhead, and so you can be looking down and to see what I'm seeing while we do the demo. All right, guys, so we're back with the tool up close. As you can see, you have your power button, you have your plus and minus for the speed, and like I said, the little LED light up here, and your lock for the arbor, and your little knurled nut for the collet. So again, just push button on, the light turns on, and again, you have low all the way up to high. Now we're going to see how it does on low. So what I have is a piece of Lexan, and we'll catch it in light, and you can see how jagged that is. I'm going to see how well this will work to sand out. I'm going to see how well this works to sand out those rough edges. And if it's too loud, I'm just going to kind of put some music in over top of it. Okay, that worked super well, and that was the lowest speed, and it didn't bog the tool down. You're trying to do it delicately, so that's why I wanted to leave it on low, but we can crank it up to high and see what it does. Still nice and controllable, and leaves you a really nice smooth finish. Now the cool thing about the tool is, like, I turned it off, it was on high, and it turns right back on to high. But if you kick it down to low and turn it off, well, it comes back to low. So if you're doing something specific, like really detailed stuff, and you have to turn it off and set it down, and you pick it back up, you don't have to readjust your speed, so it doesn't come on to like a default setting. It comes on to whatever you turned it off to last time. So let's see how it does on the styrene, and we'll try to keep from blinding you guys. So on the styrene, okay, so that does kind of bog it down a little bit when you're trying to, so let's bump it up a notch to like midway. And that's working out just fine. See what it does on the double thick. Now, of course, it is melting a little bit, but that's to be expected. I mean, you're basically sanding plastic, so that's gonna happen. But again, still nice, smooth lines, so really good. Crap all over me. All right, let's change this out real quick to the cutoff wheel and see how that does. So let's try this. We're gonna leave it on that medium setting and try it on Lexan. Whee! So, not probably the best tool for cutting Lexan. It is a little grabby. Yeah, because it has those really sharp teeth on there, it is a little grabby on that. So let's try to cut out our little teardrop. So on the styrene, it worked very well. Okay, so basically cut along the edge, both sides, and then I cut some pie cuts out of it, and then just made a little relief cut here. Now we can take this stuff bend it back and get rid of that junk. And then we'll put the sanding disc back in, or sanding drum back in, I should say. And there you go. Okay, so we have a variety of different drill bits, but here's kind of the biggest and the smallest of them. We're going to stick the small one in real quick, see how well that'll punch through, make some tiny holes. So let's turn it back on. Yeah, perfect little, so if you need to make, drill holes into plastic for screws, you could use this teeny tiny one, put it right on your center hole, do that, and then start with your cutter. That way you don't have to worry about it dragging off. Or if all you're doing is putting little tiny, like 1.5 millimeter screws, this would be enough to get you started and get the screw going in there. So let's put the bigger, looks like about a 3 mil, 1/8 of an inch bit. And again, we're just on medium speed with this. So first I'm going to go back into one of my little pilot holes I drilled. So that did fine, did not leave a big burr on the back. And the same, just doing it by itself. Now, I've done this a million times, and I know everybody else is going to as well. You need a little tiny slot, so you're going to drill 2 holes fairly close. And then we're going to take the drill bit and act like a cutter where it's not supposed to be. And now you have an elongated hole there. Obviously, I'm just doing this for demonstration. I'm not trying to make it beautiful. Okay, perfect. I was a little bit worried that this was going to melt. But now it's drilling through just fine. There's no burr or anything on the back side of it. Woo, we got a weed eater going. Clean that off. See if we can connect these a little bit better. There we go. Connected those a lot better. So if you need a little hole through something, say a shaft's got to go through and need some clearance, you could do that easily. So lastly, I want to show you the little kind of cutty grindy wheels. It looks like kind of like diamond encrusted metal bits. So it should be able to grind in. But with these, I do know that they gum up and gall up fairly quickly. But yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, for general shaping, it's gonna do fine. You're not gonna do any like plunge cutting with it. It's just gonna melt and wad up on there. But like fixing this little lump I have in there, we can probably do that. There we go. Whole lot smoother. Alright guys, so that basically is the gist of the tool. I could go on and show, 50 different applications for use. You've got little tiny wire wheels. It'd be great for cleaning up turnbuckles that are starting to get a little crusty and rusty looking. All kinds of rotary tool bits out there, and this should take pretty much all of them. Again, like I said, if you've got a hardcore task, like you've got to cut a bunch of things down to length, and you're going to be using this thing over and over and over and over and over again, might not be the best tool, just because you're limited by the battery power. And obviously motor power. A corded tool is going to have a bigger motor, more power, and up to those, I got to do something 60 times. But this is perfect for stashing in your drawer at the bench, take it out, grind, polish, whatever you need to. So again, restorations, wire wheel something, put on a polishing pad, put on some metal polish on the pad, buff it up, and you've got a brand new part. So I think it's going to be very handy to have at the bench. If you guys are interested, like I said, there'll be links down below. This was sent to me for review, but I'm not getting paid to review it. This is all my opinions on it. And, of course, it is the first use of it. So down the road, how long this is going to last, how long the battery's actually going to hold up to, long-term storage and then use and stuff like that, I don't know. To be able to put a nice smooth edge on a cut where it didn't turn out perfect with a little sanding drum is really nice. To be able to put tiny little holes in for either screws or other pilot holes for getting stuff started, whatever it is, definitely works out well on that. Worked well on the styrene, didn't have any problems with that. And again, every tool is, or every bit you put in here is going to have a different characteristic. You got to learn the actual how to use it, and is it right for the application. So again, if you guys are interested, links are down below. I thought it would be an interesting one to show you guys. And like I said before, guys, I'm just trying to limit things that would pertain to our hobby. So, I'm not going to be reviewing, oddball stuff. I get offers all the time for things, and I turn down 99% of it until something like this turns up to where I think it would help me out and potentially help you guys out as well. I hope you guys enjoyed the video of it. And like I said, if you're interested, there are links down in the description. And I appreciate you guys as always for hanging out. Everybody out there, be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.